Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 68 of the Comic Room Pod. I am your host, Spro, and today with me, as always, is Mr. Longbox.
What's going on, everyone?
What issue is that? ASM 60? Oh, no, it's up 60 or 69?
60.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know the two Kingpin covers are 60 and 69.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good, so good. I sold the Marvel Tales reprint of that on Whatnot.
Yeah.
The person who bought it called it a sexy cover.
You know, it kind of is. It is. You can take that however you want, but I just think in general, it's just it's a very attractive cover.
Just Romita at his best, man.
Yeah, really nice.
Welcome in, everybody. Business as usual this week. Mm-hmm. We got show and tell. We got what else?
Got a little bit of news.
Yeah, we got some big news this week, actually. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk a little bit about our predictions, expectations, what we think might go down with the market in 2026, if we think anything will go down, or if it'll just be
hopefully everything will go up.
Business as usual. we'll see. But yeah, so thanks for listening. Thanks for clicking on this. Mm-hmm. Appreciate you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, and if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. We'd really appreciate that. You can drop us a like if you do like this. And if you got any friends or family that you think might enjoy this, send this over to them. We'd really appreciate it. If you're listening on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, wherever else this is going out audio-wise, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening on there. And one announcement. In the description below is going to be a Google form of some sort. And basically, in the next month or so, we want to do a little Q&A with you guys. Mm-hmm. So in the description is going to be a Google form. It'll be clearly labeled for you guys to see. Click on that, and you can submit some questions to us. A question that you want us to answer. Maybe it's like a topic we haven't covered before, or maybe like you want a follow-up question to something that we've talked about in the past, and you're just like, what do you mean by that? So we'll do like a Q&A episode in about a month's time, give or take.
Yeah. Ask us whatever. If we don't want to answer, we wonn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we won't be bothered by whatever you ask.
Yeah. So feel free. We'll give you guys about a month to drop some questions in there. And it'll be a fun little Q&A episode.
Definitely.
So that'll be in the description for you guys. You can follow us on Instagram. I'm at Spros_comics. He is at Mr. Longbox. I may or may not be doing I may or may not be doing an IG sale the night that this drops. So if you're watching this Monday on release day, I may or may not be doing an IG sale in a few hours. So check my IG for more details on that, because I will have announced it by then. And
we should tell them that we always assume they know, but they might not know. Joshua is my son-in-law. I'm his father-in-law. Yeah. We never, because make that assumption, but
that's true.
If you're wondering how were this cross-generational thing ever even happen?
Yeah.
This young man married my daughter, and we both like comic books, and here we are.
Yeah. That's how.
That's a real short story version of it.
Yeah. So because there might be some new viewers who just don't know. Yeah. Good point. All right. So let's kick off with show and tell.
Okay.
Why don't you go for it?
All right.
I need to drink water.
Yeah, my show and tell.
Oh wait, sorry. One more thing.
Okay.
One more thing. This caffeinated episode is sponsored by Mon Comics. So thank you, Mon. He made a claim from me. He dropped in an extra few, and he said, Mon, "You and Bob buy yourself some coffee." So here you go,
Mon. Much appreciated. This is a great fuel for the episode.
Shout out, Mon. All right. Now we're good for show and tell. Sorry. Right.
No worries. Definitely want to shout out Brandon.
Yeah.
Great guy. Follow Mon Comics if you don't. Yeah. Really great content on YouTube. Okay, so my show and tell is a book that I've always wanted. By always, I mean from the month that I decided that I was going to collect the Fantastic Four. This book was always on my, I won't even say radar because it was always too expensive for me, but it was always a book I pined for. But I actually never found it. I never saw it. It was a ghost of a book.
Wow.
From back in my day of haunting comic shops, things like that. It just didn't turn up.
Yeah.
And it is Strange Tales issue 101 from October, November of 1962. So 1 year after the publication of Fantastic Four,
Right on.
issue number 1. So they would have been at about issue 5 or 6 for Fantastic Four at this time because they were going every other month initially.
Doom.
Yeah, right. So this came out about the same time as the first Doom, right around there. Why did I want this book so much? It's 101. It's not issue 1. It's not issue 100. It's 101. It is a milestone in the Strange Tales run because this is when Strange Tales went from being, the more of a horror, sci-fi, not horror, more sci-fi stuff, pre-superhero stuff mostly, to superhero stuff. They got on board with what Marvel was doing elsewhere. And they marked that by bringing the Human Torch into the issue. And this is the first solo Human Torch story post Golden Age. So first Silver Age Human Torch story. And the Fantastic Four does not appear in this one, just the Human Torch. But check it out; it's so cool. It says up here, starring the fabulous Human Torch. And then you know how they used to do I don't know if they still do it, but they
do.
They do the asterisk when there's they're referencing an old issue or something like that. They did that on the cover, and then if you go down here on the bottom and you see there's an asterisk, it says, "By permission of the Fantastic Four magazine."
Oh, cool!
It's the coolest thing to do, and so
I actually didn't look at this before.
Yeah, it's a really cool book, and I never, like I said, I couldn't afford it back in the day, and if you're curious, it's kind of fun. I have the old price guide from 1980. This one here, actually, a cover with it's an original Schomburg.
Oh wow,
which is really kind of cool.
Is that worth anything?
Not in the condition I got it. This thing has been well used, but no, I don't think so. I don't think any of the price guides are, except the first one.
If it's an original Schomburg cover, that's not on any other book, right? That's what you mean by that.
This one has been well loved for sure. But yeah, maybe
from Cali to the Midwest, back to Cali.
I mean, it's been, and this was like my Bible back then. I read this thing every day. This taught me everything about the hobby. This is how I learned, the most valuable books and why and what they were. But if you look up Strange Tales in this book, what's fun about this book is it's basically a snapshot of the way I learned the market and what the market, how it was shown to me and what it was like when I first started collecting. Strange Tales, the title starts in 1951, and issue 1 of Strange Tales back in 1980 in near mint was $225. And if you go all the way up to issue 100, issue 100 is like $9 in near mint, $6 to $9 in near mint condition. And then you see this big jump for issue 101, and it's $70, and it just kind of goes downward from there as all the Human Torch issues show, until of course you get to Strange Tales 110, which is the first Doctor Strange, worth actually only the first Doctor Strange was worth less than this book. When I first started collecting.
No way.
The first Doctor Strange was worth $50, and this had a reflected value in the overseas price guide of $70. So just to give you an idea of how out of reach this was for me and how sought after. But it wasn't even the price. It was the fact that it just wasn't around. They didn't print that many of these. I mean, but when I say not many, compared to Fantastic Four. And so if I wanted to get this book, whenever I tried to find it on a mail order, they never had it. I never found one at a convention. Never saw one at LCS. But, and I'll tell the story how I got it. It actually showed up at our LCS.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? I'm like, whoa, no way. But it came at a time when I just didn't have anything budgeted to spend. So I thought, well, it's a different time now. If I really want it, I can find it now. But long story short, he ended up, can I tell this story? I mean, without any numbers and all that, or?
Yeah, I mean, he sold me a bunch of his overstock. Not even overstock. He bought a collection some time ago, like a few months ago, and he was just ready to move on from the collection.
Yeah.
So he just sold me everything that he had
you
left.
have a relationship with him, a business relationship with him. So he contacted you, said, "Hey, you want to make me an offer on all these books so I can turn over my inventory?" And you've got an apparatus to move these things. So that deal was consummated, and you were able to give me the deal, to pass on the deal that you got buying the bulk on this one book. So it actually brought the price down. So thank you for that. So in the end, I got this essentially from my son-in-law. How do I say this? From an LCS through my son-in-law, it came to me essentially. And I'm so excited for it because as one of the sort of side things that I've started kind of decide since I finished my FF run is to pick up those FF appearances in Strange Tales, those early ones, maybe the first year or so. This isn't actually an FF appearance, but it's 25% of the FF. And so really excited to have it.
I mean, and it's also just kind of like a nod to the Golden Age, like the Human Torch, like Human Torch doing his own thing.
Yeah, I love it, because I had that old Golden Age Human Torch. I have a new Golden Age Human Torch, so Human Torch has just been one of my favorites all along. So to get this book, significant Silver Age appearance of the Human Torch, really excited to have it, and it didn't cost me that much. The condition is probably a 2530, something like that. It's got a little writing on the front. It's got.
It's a good looking book.
I mean, it's actually. It
might be higher.
It might be higher. It may be closer to a 4.0, maybe in that range. But whatever it is, I don't plan to get it slabbed right now. Very happy to have it though. Yeah. Really excited.
Right on. All right. So my show and tell is I did some cleaning in the comic room this week. I don't spend much time in here except for Thursday nights when I set up the room, and then Fridays when when we record. So this is kind of just like a room of like where I pop in and out of. And like I come home from the office, and if I bring books with me or if I like pick books up somewhere, they land here first and then they go to the office. And when I get like new comic book day books, there's just a fat pile on my desk of like what I need to read through. And so this week I was like, okay, I got a lot of books just kind of like scattered. Let me bring them all in, read what I need to, and then bag and board and then put them in the box and send them on their way. So I did that, and I pulled out a box that had several books that weren't bag and boarded. And I was looking at them and I was like, oh, these were the books that I got from Japan. I was like, and I never bagged and boarded them. Oh, wow. I just like had thrown them into the box, and I was probably like, I'll deal with it later. And so because that was a long trip for us, that was almost 2 weeks. And so I probably got home and I was like, I don't want to do anything. Like, so these are going in the box and I'll take care of it later. And I never did. And that was back in like April. So it's been almost a year. I think we came back like early May, maybe late April. And so I was bagging and boarding the books, and I had just come across a lot of covers that I totally forgot that I had grabbed. And there was one Japanese exclusive that I had given you, the Blister Comics one with the Joker. Cool. Yeah. But this one actually, it's an artist that I'm not familiar with, and I grabbed it because it's just stunning. And I can get the artist name in a second. But this is Harley Quinn, issue number 1.
Oh my gosh.
Just really beautiful cover. Wow. Yeah, just stunning. And I should have wrote it down.
I'll hold it up while you look.
While I look it up. But yeah, it was just a book that I forgot that I had, that I'd picked up in Japan, and I don't think it's an exclusive. On the back, where is my key clip? There it is. On the back is written the name of the
gorgeous Harley Quinn issue 1.
Yeah. So let me see.
That's really, really nice.
Issue 1. I don't think it's this one. Oh, it is this one. Variant cover arts by Yoshitaka Amono. So it is a Japanese artist.
It's beautiful.
And so
I really like that.
You know, when I was going through the store over there, I was like, I don't want to buy stuff that, like, you know, I don't want to take comics out of Japan, out of the Japanese economy. I was like, so I'm not going to buy stuff that I can't like get, that I can get in America.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I was like, you know, those people. So this is an older, this came out in 2021. So I really had to dig. So I was like, okay, I'm not trying to take any new comic book day stuff.
Right.
I was like, if there's Japanese exclusives, like I want to get those. And so, yeah, I was just digging through their boxes of modern stuff and found that. And then I actually did take home a couple Rivals covers because I was like, yeah, they're Momokos, I think. And
that makes
from
sense.
Japan, I was like, yeah, I'm going to take these.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so just a gorgeous, absolutely just stunning cover.
It really is.
I mean, it is just beautiful.
Sentimental and beautiful because it's in the Asian style too. Like, that's a great book.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you never showed that to me.
Yeah. So
I love that.
Speaking of which, Peach Momoko is doing a spin-off comic that comes out next week. The first issue comes out next week of a character in Rivals of Psylocke. Her name is, I think it's actually Peach Momoko's version that she created in Demon Wars, or that comic she did.
Demon Days?
Yeah, Demon Days. Where Psylocke's her name is Psy. So she's doing this comic. She's writing this comic for Psy. It's like Psylocke going through like the multiverse, and it's like a traveling like thing, I think. But
multiverse road trip movie.
Yeah, pretty
comic.
much.
That's cool.
So get this though. So it's written by Peach Momoko, and the cover is by Peach Momoko, and the interior art is Stan Sakai.
That's cool.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
So just really neat.
Yeah. And when is that coming out?
Next week, I believe.
Just when I determine that I'm going to cut back on my new comic budget, the new comics come out.
Peach Momoko, Stan Sakai crossover though.
I have to at least get issue 1.
Yeah.
And, you know, for the history of it, but then I might just really fall in love with it. So
yeah.
But
that's a great crossover. I don't know if that's the first time they've ever crossed over, but I'm like, man, two icons.
That's
from
first
Japan.
to my knowledge. I'm not like a huge. I don't know a lot about Sakai beyond Usagi Yojimbo, really.
Yeah, I mean, she's probably done like she's probably done a Usagi cover.
Yeah, Peach. Yeah,
but like a collab, like a proper collab is.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited.
Stan Sakai does a lot of conventions out here on the West Coast.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know if it's. Does he go east? You know, is it like out here in California? You guys, we often see artists and writers at announcing conventions in Orlando or Charlotte or New York, obviously Boston, that never come out here.
Yeah, but
I'm kind of hoping that at least we get the same things over here. Like we get, maybe it's the movie stars and other things that don't go east, or maybe we just get the short end.
I don't know. Who knows?
But very cool.
Well, because New York Comic Con. I mean, I guess they might not get like, because we have LA Comic Con, WonderCon, San Diego, and we'll have big celebrities at all three of those. They'll do big signings. On the East Coast, it's probably just New York Comic Con and then some of the bigger expos. But they might not get like, you know, like New York Comic Con, I feel like would get like, just as an example, like the Daredevil cast.
Right.
We've seen that. We get the Daredevil cast here as well. But it's like, I don't think, is Heroes getting the Daredevil?
No, but Heroes will get, for example, like the East Coast artists. If Heroes will get like Frank Miller or Jenny Frison or somebody, we don't.
Yeah, but that's also like a proper comic convention though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
it's big.
Our cons are like, for you East Coast people, you know, if you go to your conventions, if you've never been to New York Comic Con and you just do like Heroes and like some of those other East Coast ones, and it's like mostly comic focused, we don't really have a big one like that on the West Coast. WonderCon, LA Comic Con, and San Diego is so much like pop nerd culture.
Yeah.
And like comics, honestly, are like kind of the smaller part of that. Like you go to WonderCon, and there's like a small corner in the entire convention center for comics, and then the rest is toys, Artist Alley, which is great.
Yeah, 5% of the floor is comics.
Yeah,
8%. That's about it. Which is still a lot because it's a huge venue.
Yeah,
there's plenty. If you're not going to run out of comics to buy at WonderCon, but just know that that's when you walk in, you're not going to get an airplane hangar full of comic book dealers.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to be like bumping shoulders with people in cosplay a lot more.
Yeah,
you're going to be bumping shoulders with people who are there for more so the scale of it all.
Yeah,
and probably less because they want to be there for comics, which isn't a bad thing. It's just the nature of West Coast conventions.
And let's talk about the reality when it comes to San Diego Comic-Con, and that is, if you're not like legacy ticket holder, you're not going to get a ticket. So it's not like you and I could just decide, hey, let's go to San Diego Comic-Con this year because it's the biggest one and everybody will be there. We might say that, but we have a very slim chance of getting it through the ticket outlet. Maybe we know somebody who's getting perhaps, but it's very difficult to get in. They give preference to the dealers or the customers who previously bought, which locks new people out, which I think it's the ultimate gatekeep.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible. Just reset it every year.
Yeah.
But they do what they do. WonderCon at least you can get a ticket for. I don't know if I want to go to WonderCon this year.
Yeah.
I just don't know. We've talked about it. Like the last couple of times we've been to con, it's like a huge expense.
Yeah, it is.
Especially WonderCon because it's all the way down south of Disneyland. So you got to stay overnight.
Yeah. Over a couple nights.
A couple nights to make it worth the time. But now you're in $500 before you even bought a comic book, at least for your 2 nights and meals, you're $500 in. So now, I just don't know.
Yeah.
But early bird tickets went on sale. They're already for sale. You can get your early bird 3-day pass. So I don't know. Should we go to WonderCon or not?
I could go either way. Like I could go, oh, you know what though? I'll tell you after. That'd be very.
You might have another obligation.
No. A reason to go.
Oh.
But I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Well, but yeah, so cons are just different. All types of cons are different. But on here on the West Coast, like if you want to go to like a proper comic con, it's more so a show, and they're very small, which they're great. And we love going to those. We haven't been to one in a while, actually.
Those are fun. It's $5 to get in.
Yeah.
You see similar dealers, kind of running that same circuit. But I picked up some good books in these. Yeah. It's all comics. And then sometimes original art.
Yeah.
Rohan, if you're listening.
Well, I mean, and man, we can talk about this when we get to the market stuff.
Okay.
But,
all right.
I was going to add on to that, but I'll wait. All right. That's our show and tell. All right. On the news, there is some crazy news this week. Let me open up my Twitter. Hold on. Dallas Mavericks star Anthony Davis has sustained ligament damage in his left hand. That means he's not getting traded.
I actually feel badly for the Dallas NBA fans. I do. And they got jobbed, man. Come on.
Yeah.
They were upset when they thought they were getting a healthy Anthony health and Anthony Davis don't fit. A healthy Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And we all knew there's no such thing.
Yeah.
And no knock on AD because when he's healthy, he's one of the best in the game.
Easily.
But that's the big if. And now he's out for the rest of the.
They said at least a few months. If he's out, he'll be out for a few months.
I think he only played 10 games for the Mavericks after the trade last year. That's crazy.
Yeah, there were some crazy stats about playing time. But anyways, all right. First piece of news, you'll like this. A new Jessica Jones project is reportedly in the works at Marvel Studios.
Yes.
So.
So Alias, is it Alias 1 that's first appearance?
Alias 1, and I have a copy of Alias 1 signed and sketched by David Mack.
Didn't you offer that up for sale not long ago?
Not that one, no.
Okay, you can't sell that one, man.
No.
You got to keep that one.
Yeah.
We do get David Mack at West Coast conventions.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah. Even the small ones he'll pop
Even
up
the small ones.
because he lives here.
I love the Jessica Jones character. I loved her in Jessica Jones. I loved her in Power Man. I loved her in Defender. I think she's great.
Yeah.
I think her character's great. I think she's been done really well in the comic books. I don't have her first appearance. And it's not expensive. You can get a 9.8 for like, what, less than 200?
Yeah.
No, not the one that you have signed and sketched, but wow.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Mac did I saw him at LA Comic Con, and I was looking at his like price sheet.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
I was like, $50 for a remark. Yeah. I was like, that's all right. I was like, let me get 4.
Right.
So I literally got 4.
Especially a book like that. That's a key. And you got it also for, one of the early Echo appearances, I think.
The first appearance of Echo.
Yeah,
so I got the first appearance of Echo and the first appearance of Jessica Jones, signed and remarked by David Mack.
See, I wouldn't buy a slabbed one of that. I would get one that's in near mint condition, because I would look for a David Mack remark and sig on it.
Yeah.
And I want that book, actually. I really, really do.
Yeah.
And incidentally, he did the art for issues 1 through whatever, the covers of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, her first solo title.
So if you're looking for, that's a good spec.
Yeah. Okay. Barry Keoghan is expected to return as the Joker in the Batman Part 2. I gotta say, something I'm really interested in for the Batman trilogy is what they're gonna do with the Joker. Just how are they gonna do the arc with the Joker? Because they teased him in the first movie. Then they released like that 4-minute clip of Batman interacting with him in the cell, which is hard to tell. Like, is that canon or is it not, like, to the movie? Because it's like they filmed it, but they never put it in the movie. So I don't know. And then I assume he will have a slightly bigger role in the second movie. But I feel like it'll really come down to the third one. And like, if it just all leads to Joker, like, I think that'll be pretty sweet.
That would be cool. And what would be cool is if it's like an origin, not origin of the Joker, but origin of the Joker Batman dynamic. Because we are like, do we really want another movie that's totally focused on the Joker as the main antagonist? We get that with every Batman, not that it's not great. They're always great, but maybe we want something different. Maybe we want something that's more focused on the young Batman, the Pattinson role, right? And obviously Joker's a part of that, but so is Gotham, like you said before. So I think that would be ideal.
So check this out, actually. This is a tweet that somebody made kind of based on the announcement. Somebody said, and I don't know that I fully agree with this, but I do find the take very interesting. Well, I'll explain. I'll flesh it out after I read it. Somebody responded to that tweet and said, Barry Keoghan could be a magnificent Joker, but Matt Reeves should try a different approach. Heath Ledger's grimy, scarred-up Joker felt unsettling because he was in this stark, pristine Gotham. Remember the Nolan Gotham was it was Chicago. Keoghan, being a sharp, polished Joker, would be creepier in Reeves' grotty, greasy Gotham. Which I think is an interesting take for sure. And people were responding to that, and they were, they had their back and forth of, you're an idiot. But I think the concept is cool, but what I think will probably be the focus of this Joker is this Joker has to be gritty, grimy, gross, because I think he's going to be the epitome of what Gotham produces.
I see.
So he's going to be gross.
He's a product of Gotham.
Yeah, and it's like this, and I think the example is going to be like, this is what Gotham produces. Like, this is like the worst of what Gotham can produce, and this is why we need a Batman. I think if you just have like a business, like, you know, Jared Leto-esque Joker in that Matt Reeves,
shiny and purple with a cane kind of thing.
Right. And while it's like, it's the idea is cool, this concept of just like a dichotomy kind of, while that is cool, it doesn't necessarily, like, storytelling wise, it doesn't help flesh out Gotham as much.
Yeah. The guy who made that comment, I understand what he means from an aesthetic perspective. It will look cool to have that contrast. The Joker will really stand out, and that's cool. I get that. But just understanding the characters and the lore and all that, maybe, I mean, you're right. Yeah, that's a really good point. Joker is, well, in many cases, so many of the characters in the whole Batman family and lore, they all stem directly from Gotham. Like, they are Gotham produced.
Yeah.
You know, their origins are in the soot and grime and corruption of Gotham. That's what's so great about the Batman universe.
Yeah.
It all flows from Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first appearance of mention of Gotham? I saw that on a claim sale not long ago.
Oh, I have no clue.
That's a book.
Yeah.
When it's not one of the keys either.
Yeah.
It's not Tech 27. It's not Batman 1. It's something like random, but it's not random because people have already tagged in it's worth more. I think whatever it's worth, it should be worth more.
Yeah.
Like, Gotham is as big of a character as Joker is a character.
Yeah, it's the main character of the Batman universe, pretty much. Okay, we'll come back to one more piece of Batman news, but I'm going to skip ahead to this and we'll go back. The Blade solo movie is reportedly not happening. Now, this is a rumor, okay? The character will instead appear in Midnight Suns. So it seems that Blade movie is not happening, which I feel like you could have made your bets a while ago that it wasn't going to happen, and you probably would have made money on it. But, I mean, Midnight Suns movie, it's pretty cool. So, yeah, okay.
Interesting.
Biggest piece of news of the week, and this is our last piece of news. Sebastian Stan, a.k.a. Bucky Barnes, a.k.a. the Winter Soldier, a.k.a. Donald Trump, a.k.a. the Elephant Man, a.k.a. that's all I know him from.
All right.
Is in talks to star in the Batman Part 2. And immediately you might think to yourself, what in the world might he be playing?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't take long after this was announced before his stylist started posting pictures on his Instagram story.
Oh, okay.
Of Sebastian Stan designed as Two-Face, Harvey Dent. So it seems Sebastian Stan will be playing Harvey Dent in the Batman Part 2.
And starring is kind of a big verb to use there. It's not just appearing, but starring. And so we're saying Two-Face is going to be a major character in the Batman.
Yeah, and going back to the Scarlett Johansson announcement from a couple weeks ago, one of the rumors is that she would be playing Harvey Dent's wife, along the other rumor that she'd be playing the Phantasm. So that rumor seems to have more credibility now.
Right.
Especially with his stylist throwing up these pictures on his Instagram story of him as Two-Face.
Yeah.
This is, I think, great casting. It would be, it'd just be great. Something to note is the Batman Part 2 and Avengers Secret Wars film at the same time. So,
tell him what that means for Sebastian Stan.
He might not make it out of Avengers Doomsday.
Because how could you do both at the same time?
Somebody noted that they were filming on 2 different continents.
Well, then, yeah, he can't. Not even the Winter Soldier can be in 2 places at once.
Yeah, so it's pretty. Yeah,
make of that what you want, but that's pretty reliable intel if his own stylist is doing that.
Yeah.
So, if you've got your first Bucky Barnes as Winter Soldier, maybe cash it in now before he dies.
Before they X him out. Yeah. I'm really interested to see what ends up happening with just what Marvel's gonna do after these 2 Avengers movies. There's rumors of a guy, an actor named Damus Idra. Idra. He was in the F1 movie. That he's going to be playing Black Panther, and somebody noted that the F1 movie was very popular and big, and
yeah, it was.
And the actor Damus, I think I'm butchering his name. He hasn't done anything since then. Like, he hasn't been really in the public eye since the press tour for the movie. He hasn't been in anything else since the movie.
Nice.
So the speculation is, has he been in the cave where they've been filming Avengers to be Black Panther?
Yeah.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I would be, you guys know this because I've said it many, many times. I truly want to see T'Challa back in the MCU. That was and again, I'm no one's knocking from Marvel's choices when Chadwick Boseman passed and how sudden it was to us,
right,
and all that. So, but they need to correct it.
Yeah,
they need to. T'Challa should not be dead as a character, and they need to fix it. And we know they can fix characters that they actually have killed on screen,
right?
Well, in which they essentially said on screen that he's gone.
Yeah,
but then he's not gone. He's got to come back. Anyway, so that excites me. I hope that's right. I hope that's really true.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Avengers Doomsday, the third trailer came out this week. We had the Captain America one, the Thor one, and then the X-Men one came out. Yeah. This last week. I don't know if you saw it. It's pretty cool. It's just Patrick Stewart doing a voiceover.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but somebody told me about it.
Yeah, and then Cyclops like using his beam and in a traditional X-Men suit, which is
nice,
fantastic. And then what's in the theaters now is Fantastic Four trailer mixed with Shuri Black Panther and Namor.
Let's go. Come on,
that's
man.
all,
I like all of those.
And I mean, that's all FF right there.
I love it. That's straight out of
the canon. FF4, FF52. Yep. That's all FF. Yeah, that's FF everything.
I love it. Well, those stories need to be told. That's the thing. That's the thing about the MCU. And we have to bring the FF in, and they make this appearance and they have the story, and they tell a story that we remember the Galactus thing. But what has never been done is actually telling some of the great stories from the Fantastic Four canon.
Yeah,
it's only ever been the origin story and the Silver Surfer story. That's all they've ever done.
Yeah.
And they throw Doom in there, but they really haven't treated Doom right yet.
Yeah.
So at least in the first 100 issues, there are some amazing stories in the Fantastic Four run that people just don't know about.
Yeah. And
the Black Panther one has not been told. Yes, we had 2 Black Panther movies. Only one of them had T'Challa, and we didn't really get the FF weren't in that movie.
Yeah,
basically, obviously. So there's so much. There's so many great stories. The This Man, This Monster story. Oh man, we got Agatha, and anyway, I go on and on about it. But I'm thrilled if they're not just going to be throwing the FF characters into whatever other stories they're going to tell, but if they actually go into those canon stories from the first 100 issues and tell some of those stories.
Yeah,
or even from the Byrne run, they could do that too. Those are great stories in the Byrne run. There's just like this. There's just like 200 issues where they didn't do much. What are you guys doing? Yeah,
I think they're probably more interested in some of the more modern stories because I think that like Hickman had them for a long time, and that's a lot of like Hickman did a lot with the kids with Valeria and Richard, or what's his name?
Franklin.
So I feel like they might stick to that era.
I'm totally fine with it.
But yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, so
that's great.
Yeah, some sweet news.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know we're probably segueing into the market. I'm just curious before we officially go there.
Sure.
Where do you think we stand in the hobby as far as the have we reached an exhaustion level or is it just going to reset the amount of influence on values or at least speculation that these movie announcements have on comic books?
Yeah, I think there might be a little bit of exhaustion for sure, but I don't think it's fully out yet, and not necessarily like the market's kicked it out, but I think there's some people who are like still want to make money or still be part of it all.
Yeah.
Based on the announcements. And I think also like FOMO's, I mean, here's a real and true story. I watched Across the Spider-Verse this week. Darren and I, one night we watched Into the Spider-Verse. The next night we watched Across the Spider-Verse. And the very next day I bought the Spider-Punk, First Appearance of Spider-Punk book from you. So.
Were you the one who bought it from me?
Yeah. So like, it's just, I watched it and I forgot how cool he was.
Yeah. He was very, very cool in that movie.
Yeah. And so, and I love, man, just when he's like putting down when he's making like through the scene where they're going through the whole Spider Society thing. And he's just like slowly building the watch piece by piece.
Yeah.
And I love the scene where he's like, where Spider-Woman tells him, Hobie, you're not helping. And he says, good. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. I bought that as a spec and I probably sold it too soon. I should have waited, but it's still in the family. So
I think you made $5 off me. So I think I sold it to you for 20 and then I bought it back for 25. So
I made a cup of coffee out of it.
Hey, not for nothing.
No, well, we're just going back and forth. You got it now. I had it. Then now you have it back. It's fine.
And then you're gonna rewatch it.
And I'll probably buy it back from you for 50
at the wrong time. Yeah,
yeah. So what about like so there's movies. There's the movie spec. Do you think there's more, less, or the same amount of influence when it's a TV show that's announced?
Less, for sure.
Less?
Unless it's like, I think people are fine speccing on like Daredevil stuff.
Okay.
Like, I mean, the Muse books went ridiculous. I should have sold my copies because now they're not worthless, but I didn't sell them because I like them, because I'm a Daredevil guy.
Yeah, but they came back.
But they're back to earth now. And that's why I sold my Absolute Batmans, is because it's like, you can never time the market, but I don't know. Has it reached its ceiling? Like, but either way, I know I'm going to be able to buy all of them back
at some point. Yeah, just patience will pay off. Yeah, I probably should have sold my first Agatha Harkness when the Agatha Harkness show was getting started, but I'm not in the habit of selling my Fantastic Fours.
Yeah, sure.
And especially my high grade slabbed Fantastic Fours. I just wouldn't. But mathematically speaking, I should.
Yeah.
Because I think what I have is an 8.5. Sell the 8.5. And then buy back an 8.5 for this and pocket the difference after when it comes back down. Or sell the 8.5 at its peak. When it comes back down, get back in and get a 9.2. Like I absolutely could have done that.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's really hard for me because I have this lingering fear of, what if I'm wrong? What if I get shut out? What if it just goes?
Yeah.
Because I've said all along, the first Agatha's way too cheap.
Yeah.
It's way too cheap. There's no, anyway. So
I sold one for 45 on Whatnot this week.
I saw it happen. I'm like, whoever bought this book, got that price for this book, has won.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out his Whatnots, man. He went crazy last time. He had all these books on the wall, and then he just said $2 starts for them all.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Somebody got a first Iron Man for
first Iron Fist,
or Thanos.
First Thanos
for like almost, I think like a little bit more, maybe like 55% of FMV. So yeah, like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of fun was had though.
Yeah, it was fun. It was electric. By the way, so I did like a handful of Invincibles, right? Because somebody was like, "Hey, do you have Invincibles?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I was like, I have about like 8 of them, and I was like, I don't know, I'm not really sure I want to start these at 2. And he's like, he even said, he was like, "No, I understand. Like, I get it." So I showed him which ones I had. I was like, "Yeah, are you interested in any of them?" He's like, "Yeah, all of them." So then I looked and I was like, okay, I know that this one is like, for whatever reason, this specific Invincible book, it's like 118. It's just like it's just worth like $20, like everywhere. I just always see it selling for $20. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll $2 start this one. I was like kind of testing the water.
Yeah.
Sold for exactly 20.
Yeah, that's right. It did.
And I was like, all right. And then I had like a $25 one because it was like 80, 75 maybe, some color rub. Put it up. I had brought that book to a couple claim sales, and people passed because of the condition. So I put it up. It sold less for my ask, but more than I expected it to go. Mm-hmm. So then I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just throw all of these. I was like, I'm just gonna $2 sell all of them. A couple sold for more than I thought that they would. A couple sold for less than I thought that they would. Yeah. But overall, I essentially got my ask out of everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kid you not. It literally felt like I was at a blackjack table. Like that was the feeling that I like. Yeah. That type of dopamine.
Oh yeah, it was.
That was the rush that I was feeling.
And you kept of all it had several books for the wall, and you kept escalating in like fair market value of the books you were offering, but the start price was always $2.
Yeah,
and yet it was 30 seconds on these auctions, and there was dicey, man. There were a couple where the book was still at like $12.
Yeah,
and there was 3 seconds to go. And with Whatnot, I guess the way you could set it up a lot of different ways, but the way you had set up, if you bid in the last 5 seconds, it resets to 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So oh man, there was some. It was a little hit or miss sometimes. And then when you decided I'm going to put the Iron Man 55 up.
Ooh. Yeah, I put a bottom price.
That one was different.
I put the price that I was like, if it sells for this, like this is the absolute minimum I would want this to go, and it went for a little bit more than that. Yeah. It didn't go for as high as I would have wanted it to go, but I mean, I'm not.
But you made somebody's day, right?
Yeah,
you know.
So,
I once had a '66 convertible Mustang. I bought it. Like most young men with money I didn't have, you know, and I loved it. It was great. Had it for 3 years, and then I sold it. And I sold it for exactly what I paid for it, and which was a really good deal. And I always regretted selling it. But the one thing that I always told myself that helped me out, I sold it to one of my graduate school professors, and he bought it for his wife, and they were 30 years older than me, and that was always his wife's dream car.
Oh wow!
So that was always my consolation. It was like, well, I had it for a few years and I enjoyed it, but now somebody gets to, you know, and they have the money to restore it. I didn't. You know, I'm like, you know, doing the best I can. But and the last time I went back to Oklahoma where I sold it, it's still in that professor's family.
Wow!
I sold it 30 years ago. I don't know if that professor's still around actually at this point, but his son drives it now.
Oh wow!
And it's
an heirloom now.
Yeah, and the one thing that was a bummer about it was that it wasn't the 289 8-cylinder. It was the 6-cylinder one. So that's how I was able to afford it. Beautiful midnight blue ragtop. But the guy's son put a 302 engine in it. And wow. I mean, I would have stuck with the 289, but it's Oklahoma. They just muscle car those things all the way.
Yeah, for sure.
And he just made it into like a mean, like anyway. So it's still the family, as far as I can tell. Awesome. So, So the person who got the Iron Man 55 from you probably ran out of the room, told everybody he knew that he got it for that price, and like I always wanted this book, but there's no way and the universe. The stars aligned, however he chooses to phrase it.
Yeah.
God blessed him, whatever he's saying, it happened for him. And that's a great customer touch point for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you may have lost money on the book, you may have broken even on the book, whatever it was for your accounting, but you made somebody's day.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about that. Like,
for sure.
You know, we all have been on the receiving end of a great deal.
Yeah.
That's just part of the fun of it. Sometimes it's a great deal because we hunt and we found it. Sometimes it's a great deal because someone just looks at us and just has pity on us. You know, it just says, you know what? I see you really want this book. We can't agree on a price. I'll give you your price.
Yeah.
And then you pass that along. I love that about the hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
It's cool. So good for you. You sent the good vibes back out into the community.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm stoked for that guy. I shipped it out last night. So he's getting it soon.
Yeah.
All right. Now, market predictions.
Okay.
2026. What do we think is going to happen? Oof. Actually, I want to say one more thing on the thing we were just talking about, about like FOMO and all that stuff. While I was bagging boarding this and a bunch of other books, I was like, okay, I need like an hour-long video, like hour to an hour and a half long YouTube video. I need to put it on, that way I have something playing in the background, and like that's kind of like my timer. So I was like, I want to be in bed after that.
Okay.
So I'm scrolling YouTube, and then all my suggested is a dude who read the entire ASM run. like from issue 1 to Brand New Day. So like,
oh man,
yeah. And he read all of it. And it was pretty much this hour. I think the video was like hour 15, hour 20, something like that. And he's just going through and he's talking like major plot points, talking about the first time, him and Goblin interacted. What was interesting, and I kind of want to do this. Green Goblin, nobody knew who Green Goblin was for 40 issues or something like that, 38 issues. And Green Goblin made his first appearance in like issue 11 or 12 or 14, I think.
Yeah,
I think 14.
14, I think.
And then they didn't reveal who it was until 38, I think, is when Norman makes his first appearance. So it's kind of cool. You kind of just have this menace. Like, and that's literally what he said. He was just like, Green Goblin is literally just a menace to Spider-Man. Like that's kind of all he does. And then they make him Norman. And I think this was a reason Steve Ditko left, if I remember correctly. He didn't mention it in the video because it wasn't like a historical video. But I think Ditko, like one of the reasons Ditko left was because he didn't want Green Goblin to be somebody that Peter knew. He wanted Green Goblin to be like a stranger to Peter. And Stanley was like, no, like this is kind of what it has to be. So he actually leaves. I think his last art is 39. The iconic one where Goblin's flying and Peter's hanging with his mask off.
Yeah.
And it's like that blue cover.
Yeah.
It's a very iconic cover. So like Norman makes an appearance 38, and I'm pretty sure Steve Ditko's last is 39.
Wow.
So there was some tension there. But he goes through and he's telling like the story of Kingpin and like how Kingpin kind of fits into how Kingpin fits into Spidey's universe and he really just like, man, he's I'll link the video in the description. He's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Like an intelligent reader, but like he wasn't just like reading this and like skimming over it. Like he was very much like processing what he was reading because of the way he was able to like retell and I mean he's just telling stories of like the weird stuff that they were doing with Norman. Like I didn't realize how weird Norman Osborn was in the comics. Like and then how weird Harry was. Like they had Harry dealing with stuff like trauma and substance abuse and just like Harry had demons, which is why like you have different hobgoblins. Like in our mind we're like, oh yeah, Harry Osborn's is Hobgoblin because Spider-Man 3 and James Franco says so, but it's like Harry was just kind of a dude who was just going through it. He's just struggling.
Cycle for a dad,
Yeah, and so going through like all this, and then they do like there was like they made a clone of Peter, right, in like the 100 somewhere. I think it's like 149 or 29. No, not 29 or 39 is like the first appearance of like this clone, and then there was an era in which the reader didn't really know if the Peter that we were following was our Peter from AF-15 or this clone Peter. Like Norman had created this clone of Peter.
Oh wow.
And had put all of the memories in him, and there just comes a point where you actually don't know who the original is. And so it was for a long time.
That's crazy.
Like just this insane,
that was a fun video. I'm gonna watch that
video.
It
just like insane. And so I just learned like so much, like where and he was like there was times where like they did, he said they did, there was a time where Peter essentially had no growth. Like there was kind of really nothing going on with him. But then like kind of like around the Kingpin time is where the writers really started to like grow Peter, and then he goes to college and the whole like he talked about the whole Gwen Stacy thing and the death of Gwen Stacy, and like really fleshed out that story, and was like giving his insight on it and like what that did for Peter and just like this whole like Peter went a long time where they were actually giving him proper growth, which in comics it's kind of rare because time is almost like stagnant in comics. But he said they did a very good job at giving him just a character development. And then the 90s Clone Saga happens, and the 90s is just like this weird time where there was just like so many different titles.
Yeah, there were. Yeah,
for Spider-Man, and he said kind of loses it a little bit, but then it finally got like reined back in, and so the writing got good again, and he was like, and it was easier to follow. And then the infamous One Last Day, where he gives up his marriage to Mephisto to save Aunt May. And the thing that like
I disagree with that decision.
Yeah, I read that arc, and I think the thing that I thought about was, I don't think Aunt May would like actually approve of this.
No,
like I think she would think this is a very dumb decision.
Yeah, she's a widow at the end of her life, not taking anything away from anybody who's widowed and 70 plus years old or anything. But it's just could do the comparison. Like what makes the most sense here?
Yeah. And so, and then what he said, like another aspect he said is like, what made it really frustrating, especially after like reading every issue up until that point, is it really undoes so much of all the fantastic character development that they gave the character, because it was a moment of complete reversion and like intentionally bringing Peter back, setting him back 10 years.
Wow.
Because now he's a single bachelor again. And so it's just this very fascinating video, and I'm watching this video and I'm like, I want the top 100 ASM.
Even I want those now because you just have to recognize excellence. I can joke about, it's one or the other. I'm FF. I'm not like, me no like Spider-Man. That's not true. Like I love comics. Of course I like Spider-Man. And if I think he gets too much publicity or too much hype, that's neither here nor there when you talk about the first 100 issues. They're great.
Yeah.
And I would go all the way through the Gwen Stacy death, 121, 122.
Yeah.
Like, all that. It would be nice. But I think I'll have to settle for an omnibus.
Even the omnibus, the first omnibus, goodness gracious, the first print of that thing. Oh my god! Because I looked up, I kid you not, this was literally my thought process after the video. I was like, dude, it's so expensive. Like, nah, I'm just gonna, I have my goals right now. Like, I'm just gonna focus on that. Like, whatever. And then I was like, but maybe I get the omnibuses because I got the Invincible omnibuses, and I'm like reading them through those. So maybe I'll get the ASM one. I look up the first prints of these. Goodness gracious, good night, man. The first one is like a few $100.
Yeah, no, I don't need the first prints. I just want to be able to read it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have. You had a lot of the first Spider-Mans.
I had a lot of the first top 100, yeah.
But you were just launching your business. It wouldn't have made any sense to keep them.
No.
Down the road, but
those were the money makers too.
Yeah. They always sell for a reason. There's a reason why. Yeah. Because we all want them. Yeah. And they're, by the way, insane covers.
Yeah. Man, Romita, man.
He was a man.
Now I miss my ASM 50.
Well, it's hard to sell that book and not miss it.
Yeah.
I miss it and I never owned it. I miss that I could have bought it for $50.
Yeah. Okay. So that out of the way now. Market predictions of 2026. What do we think it's going to look like ahead of us? Comics, new comics. What the heck is going on with Absolute Batman? Got a lot of movies coming out this year. So that, like, not just like, oh, we got Captain America Brave New World, or we got Thunderbolts coming out. No, we got like serious movies coming out this year.
Yeah.
We've got the new Spider-Man movie and Avengers Doomsday with some serious characters, and we got some serious crossovers going on. So,
and when can we expect the new animated Spider-Man?
Across Beyond the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
I think that's scheduled for 2027.
Okay.
Probably.
But we'll be getting a lot of rumor. The rumor mill for that's going to be churning.
Yeah.
Big time this year. Man, well, you want to start? How do I even break this down? We're going to go predictions for specific books, predictions for eras, Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze, Copper, all that, or?
I think I think what I will probably focus on is just excitement. Because I think a lack of excitement is what brings prices down.
Yeah.
And I think when people are excited, it makes them more competitive. And because I have customers who are excited about certain books.
Yeah.
And those will get less offers and more full, like claiming at full ask, or like,
right.
Or like they DM me and they're like, hey, I'm looking for this, this, and this. And I shoot them over info and they're like, done. And I know that those are things that they're excited about. So I think excitement is probably like how I will perceive most of the market for 2026.
Yeah, I like that. I like doing that. Then I would say,
sorry, let me add one more thing to that. Like Absolute Batman, people are excited about Absolute Batman, and so that's driving the prices up.
Yeah,
and making it very competitive.
Man, well, I mean, I'll state the obvious. I think anything Doom related, people will be, depending upon what we get, they're either going to be excited or completely turned off. I don't know, because of the mystery and the shroud surrounding the RDJ selection. I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah,
I really don't. That's if it were just some random non MCU actor, a new actor playing Doom, then I would say without any doubt that Doom appearances, early Doom appearances, key Doom storylines, great Doom covers, all that stuff.
Yeah.
However, because we have to have this whole RDJ choice explained somehow, that has the potential of turning everybody the opposite.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I'm gonna lean toward trusting that they're gonna do it right, and that the Doom keys. So you got your Marvel supervillain, whatever that one is, and one where Doom is like that. That's it's not cheap, but it's still
17 or something.
Yeah, it's still a book. If you want to get your hands on a key Doom book that isn't running you, $5,000 like FF5, that's a good one to get. You get that in high grade, for in the hundreds, not thousands.
Right.
I think there's going to be, I don't know. Maybe I'll let you go next, because what I feel is that the Fantastic Four isn't going to see any movement in 2026. Not at all. The Doom things perhaps, but FF on its own, no. There's not enough excitement at all that spun off the movie. The best we can hope for is that their appearance in Avengers Doomsday is enough to restore some hope that they're going to do something great with these characters in the MCU.
Yeah. So I mean, this is something that I think is going to be big in 2026 is original art. I think in 2025 we start to saw it ramp up, and then in 2026 so far, I've seen people getting a lot of posting pictures of getting their first pieces of original art. And I think I have mixed feelings on original art. I think it's cool, and I think it's cool to own a piece of history. And I think if it's something like, it's hard for me to justify that price. And not because I don't think the artist's art is worth it, because I think it's worth it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's just like,
it's original. It's hand drawn by them. It's a one of one.
Yeah.
All of those things equal premium. It's going to cost, for any random page, it's going to cost you.
But then it comes down to, what does the next person want to buy it for? And in some cases, that might be more. But in other cases, that it might be hard to find somebody who values that specific piece
right
as much as you to buy that. Now, that's, that's barring the fact that it's not like a Jack Kirby FF page or something like something significant.
Yeah, a significant splash page or cover, something like that.
Right, but if you're talking just like these random things that
panels that are just whatever.
Like I'm seeing people post like these original arts of artists that I'm like, I've never even heard of.
Yeah, page 17 of this of Power Pack, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. It's like, man, that's great. I mean, that you got that piece and you love it. Maybe you never want to sell it.
Yeah.
But when you talk about like investment pieces, it's like, it's
going to tie up a lot of money.
How much is the next guy going to want to buy that for?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure the liquidity of it.
Yeah. So one of one. So the market is always getting reset.
Yeah.
Like there is no, well, here's the fair market value. You and the seller determine, you and the buyer, whatever, those two get together and they decide.
Like I even think that with like the Superman 1, the 9.0 that sold. Are they going to be able to move it at that price or more? I have no clue, because that is essentially a one of one.
Yeah, I don't know. Certainly what I can tell you is that the room that contains potential buyers for that book is mostly empty. There aren't a lot of people who in the world who have that kind of money at their disposal who would be interested in buying a comic book.
Yeah.
So how do you move a book like that? And original art, I think, I don't know. I understand the allure of it for sure. I get it.
Yeah, totally.
But you're absolutely, I'm with you on saying that we're going to see an explosion of it, because all I know is that it's gone from being sort of on the fringes of the periphery of what I see every day to not front and center, but it's on the same stage now. Like I'm starting to see it. It's people are talking about it. People are posting about it. At least in my circles, it's becoming more. It's getting more mainstream.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But what's the entry point for somebody? Like, is it possible to get an original art page for $100? I doubt it. Like, I don't think that's possible in any universe. But what's the lowest point of entry if you wanted to get your first bit of original art? Someone out there who's into original art, let us know. I'm really curious. Anybody out there doing it? Tell us what you got. Yeah. How much you paid for it? Because there's nowhere I can look to find out. What's the value? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, is there like a go collect for it, or I really think it does come down to, from my perception, it really does come down to like a very much like an emotional price. Mm-hmm. What is somebody like? Somebody might have their ask, but then it's like if you have a piece of original art and you have it for X amount, right? And somebody hits you up and they're like, hey, I'll offer you this. And it's not really close to like where you're at. The question then becomes, okay, well, how many more buyers am I going to have? And it's like, not, and then the next question becomes, how long am I willing to hold until I find the next buyer, or until this person comes back in a couple months and comes up a little bit? Like, it just seems like there's so many things to consider.
Yeah, there are.
And to think about. So unless it's a piece that you're holding on for life, like that's where the market is, like for me, where I'm like, I don't think I want to be a part of it. Like, unless it's like, I can see myself owning like even if it's like a Ryan Otley Invincible piece, it would have to be after I read the entire run. And there's just a page that I'm just
that you love
in love with, but I could never justify in my own mind just buying a page of Invincible of OA just because, like, just to own that part of history. I'm like, if the page means nothing to me, like if it's just a hoobity blah page, like
hoobity blah, I like that. I'm gonna use that.
But yeah, if it's just like a random page, it's like, I think I would rather have like just go to a con where Ryan Otley's at and have him remark something on a book that I love.
We should do a segment in a future episode where we both come with a page that would be our dream original art page.
Yeah.
If you could have it, it would be this one.
Yeah. Okay. And we definitely should. The first thing that comes to my mind is Spider-Man No More. Peter Parker walking away from the trash can.
Yeah, the trash can with
And it's like, in what world am I ever affording that?
and you know what it is. You know which one it is for me. It's the bullseye whack.
Oh yeah,
skewering Elektra. That would be it for me.
Yeah.
In what universe could I ever afford that?
Yeah,
it's never. No.
Yeah.
You know. but I would, anyway, that's cool. Yeah, I do think that we're going to see that become more mainstreamed and maybe show up more in claim sales, things like that. I'm curious about it, but I'm like you. I'm going to watch from a distance because it's too expensive.
It's too expensive, but also it's just like, I am so, and I think you probably feel the same way. It's not that it's just like expensive, like it's expensive to get through the door. It's not even just that. It's also that I'm just so content with just comics. I don't feel the need to own original art. Like,
yeah,
at least where I'm at now and for the foreseeable future, it just does not seem like the next evolution of my collecting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at some point down the line, in a couple years, or like, you know, way down the line, for sure. Like, my mind will change. My mind always changes.
But you know what's weird for me about it, and I've seen, you know, the whole room's full of original art. We've been at the last Torpedo Con. I had a whole room full of it, and I like looked for a second, then I was like, and I walked out because and people who collect original art are going to scoff at me, and I get it, but I'm not really all that into it because there's no color.
Fair enough.
I mean, honestly, like I look at it and go, yeah, I get the original art, but it doesn't look like the page.
Yeah.
Because it's not colored in. And you talk about Frank Miller Daredevil run, Klaus Janson was a huge part of that.
Yeah.
And you get the Frank Miller pencils, but is it really the original art? Where's Klaus Janson's coloring?
Yeah.
So again, I'm plead ignorance of this. Okay, you guys don't beat me up. You original art collectors, I'm not knocking it. I'm just telling you why I haven't really caught the bug yet.
Yeah.
But what I have caught the bug for, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet because the right one hasn't shown up, but actual pages of otherwise too expensive comic books.
Yeah.
You know, like I've talked about the 2 pages that includes Selena Kyle's first actual appearance.
You almost pulled the trigger on one.
I know. But you know why I didn't? Is because she was still the old woman. It's weird how it works out.
So it's like you want to get the other one first.
Yeah. The way it works out is you see her as an old woman, and then who's disguised as an old woman.
Catwoman, by the way.
Yeah, Catwoman. And Batman takes off her gray wig, and you see she's got brunette hair, but she still looks like an old woman. And then then it goes to the next actual physical page. So it would be a different page.
Yeah.
And you see her in the iconic, you actually see her full face, no makeup on, and the hair. And she says, what, you've never seen a pretty girl before or something like that. And that's the one I want.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I haven't, but I would love to get that.
Yeah.
And I could get that. That's in the realm of possibility, whereas Batman 1 is not.
There are a couple pages, even for like non-expensive books. Like I would love just the page of Face the Tiger. You just hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
Like, I think the cover of that book is horrible. It's just,
and you've had that book kind of in mid-grade. That would be like
I've thought about it. Yeah,
just
but
going.
I never did. But I like that page is more iconic than the book itself.
Yeah.
Like that page is homaged on covers. Like,
you know what you could do is get a copy that's, beat up or mid-grade or whatever. Go in with a razor, slice that page out, and then frame it yourself. Don't send it to CGC. Just frame it yourself. Frame the book, the cover, and then right next to it,
let's see.
The splash page. I mean, the last page.
This is the.
It would be so cool.
This is the old classic.
Face It Tiger.
This is the classic segment on.
Face It Tiger is one of your customers too.
Yeah.
What a great handle that is.
I think that's Amazing Spider-Man 42. This is the classic segment on the Comic Room Pod where we shop eBay.
Oh gosh,
while recording,
and this has led to purchases, as you guys know.
Yeah, a purchase. One time I purchased and I never got it.
That's right. Well, buying something and not receiving it always is a good story.
Yeah, it's true. Face It Tiger page. I would even buy graded. Like I'd spend $50 for that page.
Yeah.
No, I'm not seeing anything. I need to actually think of a proper.
I actually think that might be a cool spec to get a ragged let's say it's ASM 42, ragged issue 42. I mean, practically coverless, torn up, shredded, but that page is intact.
Yeah.
You actually would make money. You buy that book for $10, slab the one page, you could probably sell for 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. So there's a tip for you.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's the next thing. Finding shredded copies of books that you wouldn't be able to afford, but there's an iconic page inside. For instance, the Daredevil Electra Skewer page.
Yeah.
That's Daredevil 181. There's a gazillion copies of that book.
But that cover's iconic too for the Skewer one.
It is. But what if if I had in my hands a 2.0 copy of that book, somebody just, gave it to their little brother, and I just bought that book. I mean, I could buy a book like that for $2.
Yeah.
I should probably look for that.
Yeah.
A cheap 181.
Yeah, your wife would frame it well too.
She's really good at that.
Yeah.
She can go to Michael's with nothing but an idea and come back and make a piece of art.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So OA, I think, is definitely gonna be the trend we see in 2026.
Okay. I love it.
Book wise, I think it's really just gonna come down to the excitement of these movies. So I think it might be a slow ramp up. But I think if Spider-Man, if that movie is good, which I hope it is, and I think the director of Shang-Chi, I think those action sequences, like think of some of those action sequences in Shang-Chi, like when they were fighting in the building,
they were great.
And the neon
really
lights
pretty.
coming in, beautiful. Imagine what he'll do with Spider-Man. Shang-Chi is nothing compared to Spider-Man.
True.
So you think of what he can do with that, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
I think if that movie is good, then I think the time between Spider-Man and Doomsday could be a really exciting part of the hobby.
That'd be fun.
So,
what about anything related to Midnight Suns?
and for short-term bursts, probably, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not sure that. See, that's something that's I think people are exhausted of that type of spec.
Okay.
I think that there's still people who will buy it, but I think prior in 2022 and that whole era 2023, when everybody would buy a copy, I think we're past that. I think if you have those books on eBay, I think you might be able to catch some.
Okay.
But yeah,
I think we're not done with the early bronze, specifically DC horror run. That's gotten hot lately again. It really runs cyclical. I've noticed it will get hot and the heat will burn for about 6 months and then it's kind of just goes away.
Yeah.
And then it comes back. But what I've noticed though, when these books get hot, a book goes from 20 to 50 and then the whole the whole segment of that genre cools off, but the book doesn't return to 20. It drops down to 30 or 35. Then it gets hot again. It goes up to 70. It's the trend is up with these books.
Yeah.
And we all know about the Bernie Wrights and stuff, or if you get a Neil Adams horror cover, everybody wants those. But I think people are sleeping on artists like Nick Cardy. He's a great horror cover artist. And
did a lot of Superman.
Yeah. And I think that, and you notice it too. You're like, wow, this is a really good cover. Who did this cover? And you go, Nick Cardy. Oh, Nick Cardy. I have weird mystery tales with the Nick Cardy cover, or Ripley's with the Nick Cardy cover, just random stuff. But these covers stand out. And I think I think of Nick Cardy right away, but there's a few others like him where people are going to start to seek those out. I think you're going to see some. I'm not saying it's going to be a mad hot absolute Batman kind of heat. I just think though you're going to see that people, once the Bernie Wrightson horror covers get past a certain point, people are going to say, well, what else is there?
Yeah.
Because that happened in the Golden Age too. Because of course Schomburg, right? Of course, anything Kirby from the Golden Age or whatever. People are jumping on it, but then you're like, well, who else we got? What else we got besides that? What about Matt Baker? What about I think we'll see that in the Bronze Age too.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of really good stuff. So I'm looking for that to be increasingly popular, and maybe some new artists become household names in if not 2026, the start of it at least.
Yeah.
So if you can still find like those books in the dollar bins, like the Unexpected Tales and that kind of stuff from the 70s. I wouldn't say go grab every single one of them, but if you see one that you think is a really good cover, grab it.
Yeah.
Just pick it up. People are looking for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think overall in the market, and I think if my prediction about post Spider-Man movie to Doomsday is right, then I think overall our collections will see an increase in value, which I think has not been true for the past 2 years. I think all of our collections have had a decrease in value.
Yeah.
But I think this year, like when we get to December 2026, I think by that point, we'll all kind of like look at our collections and what it's valued at, and it'll be worth more than it is today.
Yeah.
And
I hope so.
And I think the hottest thing will be original art. Like, I think stuff like you're talking about will burst here and there. I don't think it's anything like long term, but those are just like runs things that'll be hot for like spurts. And that stuff is always like hard to predict. Like, Invincible had already been out for 3 seasons, and it took a few months after the 3rd season before the books ran hot, because even when the 3rd season was coming out, you could have still gotten pretty much every cover for like $20.
Yeah.
And it didn't take until like summertime when the show was already wrapped where it just spiked for some reason.
Right.
Like earlier this year, you could have bought a 9.4 for like, I think it was like $1,200, 9.4. And then now it's over 2,000.
Yeah, that's big.
And so that was a huge increase on those Invincible books. So what will be the Invincible this year? I don't know. You can never really predict it. But you can take guesses and hope.
Yeah, sick tick,
It could be something that's on the children, definitely.
I mean, what about all those variant covers? I mean, I know that there's a lot of variant fatigue and everybody wants cover A, but there are a few they are still issue 1. They're not reprints.
Yeah.
They're issue 1. They're variant covers of issue 1. They're all lagging way behind cover A, like way behind cover A.
Yeah.
For example, the Frisson one that I recently acquired from you.
Yeah.
She's not a one-off on the title. She's always on that title.
Right.
So I almost look at her issue 1 as it's like cover A2. I mean, she's as much a part of the run as any artist.
Yeah.
But anyway, you never know. Could be that. Could be like people will be chasing the next Something Is Killing Children. The next, whether it's what do we see beneath the trees? All of a sudden, it spikes.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be looking at all those independents to see what the latest, because it seems like
the
indie books, they flash hot and they go big, quick, and so look for whatever that might be.
That's what I would do if I would start researching indie books, see what's been hot, see what hasn't been hot, and read it. Because if you read it and it's a good story, it's a good chance it's going to be hot at some point.
I've been reading The Beauty, the latest. There's a new run.
Ashton Kutcher, right?
Yeah. Well, I haven't. Yeah. I'm not watching it yet. It's on FX. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to start watching it. I haven't read any of the original series. I have issue 1. But I'm missing a bunch in the top 10, so I kind of stuck.
Yeah.
But the latest, there's a new story out in comic books that they're publishing. I think issue 3 is coming out next week, and I have been reading that. Those types of things. Independent books seem to be like I wasn't even aware that was coming out. It's just suddenly there it was.
Yeah.
But it's a cool concept. There's the indie books, like we said before. They just have they have a lot of latitude because there's nothing tying them to any old lore. So you see a lot of experimental storylines coming out, and every once in a while it hits, and people are looking for the next Invincible, the next Something Is Killing the Children. I'm
looking to see if there's like on
the next saga, something like that, which I haven't read.
They have a thing on here.
Or Walking Dead.
Optioned indies. Here it is. on Key Collector.
Now
they have a category called optioned indies.
Oh, that's fun.
And it's indies that have been optioned for television.
I wonder if there's more option that never get made than that are optioned and made. Probably.
Yeah.
But
Geiger. Yeah. 80-page giant Geiger. I don't know why. Red Coat.
Yeah, Red Coat, for some reason, of all the ones that came out when that whole like Rook thing came out, Red Coat would have been the last of them that I would have thought. You know, this historical thing, this guy. But that's what I'm saying. It's apparently a really cool story. Which brings us back to what it's the mantra in the hobby: read your comics. You said it to me, like that's how you know to make intelligent, speculative choices, because you read the comics. You understand what the good stories are.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know if the Beauty turns out to be a good story. I don't know.
Yeah.
The current comic, it's too early to tell, but I'm interested so far.
Yeah.
But maybe the ship's already sailed because
that book's already on a hot list.
Yeah, it's already there. But I happen to have that issue one, the Frisson variant, because what was the latest one? World Tree. World Tree's gotten hot because I think that got optioned, and I happen to have that issue one again because Frisson did the cover. Like being a Frisson collector is cool because I buy these books.
Yeah,
and Grimm is another one. She did all the variant covers.
What you need to do is when you get an indie Frisson cover, you just need to go buy the cover A of that one too.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
That's the smart move right there.
Yeah, because the cover A's are anyway really interesting. But watch those indies. You don't want to buy every single indie to read it because it's it takes 3 to 4 issues before you really can make a decision, and it can be expensive. But if you wait and you borrow somebody's trade and you read the first 6 issues and you realize, hey, it's a good story, it probably won't cost you that much to go back and find issue 1 at that stage.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the way to do it. But because that's where we should be dipping into that pool, because that's where the potential movie producers and TV producers are dipping.
Yeah.
Into these independent stories. So we should be looking too, if you want to make a flip.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all short-term, quick stuff.
Yeah.
You can look into, read comics, and I think you'll know what'll be hot eventually.
Yeah.
Absolute Batman. I mean, if you have an LCS near you and you don't have Absolute Batman on your pull, you just put it on your pull, even if you're not reading it. And 2 weeks after it comes out, it's worth $15-20 already. So
yeah, it's really something. And even with the comic shops clearly adjusting and ordering more of them, it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah,
there's a fervor around this that I haven't seen since Dark Knight, since the return of the Dark Knight Returns. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Shoot, I can't remember. Oh well. Man, hopefully it'll come in the next few minutes here before we wrap up. Man, I was gonna say read. Make sure you read. Man, I don't remember.
I would say, I'll say this too, as far as like specs for 2026, like areas that I think are overlooked. But I've been saying this for a couple of years. I still think the Golden Age Westerns are overlooked. I think they're undervalued and overlooked. If you're not into them, don't get them, because you don't like them. I also think not every single Disney book is overlooked or undervalued, but I'll just say anything in that area, whether it's Disney or Hanna-Barbera or those old TV shows like Rocky and Bullwinkle or the Flintstones or the Peanuts, those early appearances, first issue number 1, things like that. They're really not that expensive, but they're iconic.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not saying suddenly they're going to get hot, but if they ever get revived and put out there for mass consumption, then they are part of the culture in the way you talk about it sometimes, that they have staked their claim in the pop culture.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be kicking ourselves because the ones, if suddenly Snoopy, Peanuts, and all that stuff gets popular again.
Yeah.
The first appearance of Charlie Brown and Snoopy in comics, while it's not cheap, it's so undervalued. But if that happens like that, and we're all going to go, why? Obvious. It's so obvious. Why didn't I get the first appearance of the Flintstones? And you might not even know what I'm talking about, but I grew up with the Flintstones as a cartoon, or anything Hanna-Barbera or Rocky and Bullwinkle. They're not expensive.
Yeah. I think, just comics in general, like for the most part, are not really that expensive right now. Obviously, if you're chasing down grails, like that's a different story. Right. But if you're just like filling in gaps of like the exception being ASM, but even then, ASM is much lower than it was a couple years ago. But if you're filling in gaps for FF, Daredevil, Avengers, like it's really cheap right now.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
I agree.
Like sometimes I sell a book and I'm like, you know, I have it priced fairly, and I sell a book and I'm just like, that was cheap. Like I feel like that book is worth more. Like it's not worth more in the market today, but that book just has more value than it actually sells for.
Yeah.
It brings more value than what it's actually selling for. So
yeah. So there's gaps, there's opportunities.
Yeah. So, but I think, you know, what is it? High tide raises all boats. And I think that the end of summer to December 18th for Doomsday, I think that's, if that Spider-Man movie is good and if it has a good post-credit scene and the trailers we've gotten up until that point for Doomsday, and if RDJ, if Doom in those trailers looks like menacing, I think that's going to excite people. And I think that's where you're going to have like just these people are going to get excited, and then all the values will come up a little bit. But
I agree.
Yeah.
I think overall 2026 is going to be a positive year.
I agree. Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah. And yeah, if you're in OA, if you're in OA, I think 2026 is going to be the year of OA. So I think if you've been sitting on OA for a long time,
original art OA. Okay.
Yeah. I think if you've been sitting on OA for a long time and you're like ready to move it, I think this is going to be a year where you can probably move a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think people are just going to want to get in on it. So
yeah, I think it's cool. The idea that it's one of one is really cool, and knowing, you know, you get some iconic panel, it's awesome.
Yeah. How do you guys store it? Do you guys just have that big binder that like I see the sellers, they have those big binders like when I'm at cons, because I flipped it. There's always like this guy on the West Coast.
Yeah.
He's at every single convention, and every since 2022, every convention I've gone to, I've flipped through the binders. And I've looked. Do you guys is that the binders that you guys stored in? I genuinely don't know, but I mean it's cool to flip through. But
yeah, it is.
I've seen pieces. I will say this: I've seen pieces where I've looked at this guy's inventory and I'm flipping, and I'm like, I see this like cool Doctor Strange page, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. I check the price. And I'm like, not that sick.
3,500. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, but no one else would have it but you.
True.
Anyway, good stuff.
All right, yeah. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. How do you guys feel 2026 will be? Will it be good for us, or will it be another down year? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget that Q&A thing will be in the description below, so you can submit us with a question, and we will do a Q&A episode sometime in February.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys so much for watching, so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, take it easy.
Peace.